Hey, this is Brett the Hitman Hart, and you're listening to the Smacked Raw podcast.
What? Okay, well, has this always been a thing? Where have I been?
Everybody, welcome to the Smacked Raw podcast, Royal Rumble 2021 edition. We are your hosts, Kyle Tyson, joined again by Roll Tide himself, Bama, hopefully with a better mic.
Much better, hopefully, this time.
I'm sorry, I know that's definitely picking up my kid in the background.
I know, I'm probably fixing to hear my kid, too.
Anyways, you guys, thank you for joining us. We're a wrestling recap show. We're here to talk about, of course, the very, very fantastic pay-per-view that was the Royal Rumble last night. You can catch us live on twitch.tv/ putting you over, or on youtube.com/ Smacked Raw podcast if you ever miss a live stream. Bama, thanks for joining me, man.
Hey, no problem, dude.
Yeah, we were supposed to shoot this last night following the pay-per-view. Katie was going to be hosting, but apparently her internet went out, I guess. She was having a hard time. She messaged me and was like, yo, it's not going well. And I was like, well, if you have to call it, call it. And then she's like, well, I'm calling it. And I said, okay, I'll record in the morning. I'll figure something out. So with that being said, only half of my notes are provided by myself. The other half, CBS Sports, which I like to take their stuff.
Yeah, I hate that. They were kicking it off good last night. I was looking forward to it.
Yeah, man. So Royal Rumble, I think we got a couple things out of this. Some really good key takeaways that I was impressed with. One thing that caught me off guard, they utilized the legends perfectly last night. Something WWE often doesn't do. They knocked it out the park. I'm referring to, obviously, the match with Goldberg, and then also the more subtle use of a legend in Kane.
Yes.
Both guys, spoiler alert, we'll get into it. I mean, I don't know why you're watching this if you haven't watched the Royal Rumble anyways. Goldberg lost to Drew McIntyre last night. Nice swerve, too, because they did set it up how they do Goldberg's wins with a very screwy match. And then, of course, Kane in the men's Rumble for his 30-second. I don't know how many times. This man's been in the Rumble. I think 18, 19 times.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. He got a couple guys out there, but then was eliminated by Damian Priest, which I thought that was a perfect guy. When I realized who was in the ring with him, before it even happened, I was like, Damian Priest needs to take out Kane. And sure enough, it happened. And I thought that was fantastic. So, good kudos to WWE utilizing those legends. What else? What other odd little nuances of the show, Bama, do you think that you liked?
For so many reasons, they could have, for lack of a better word, made this all about, surprises, and made this all about who are we going to see, and given, kind of an homage to those that have been in Rumbles before. But like you said, the people they brought back for a good reason. Even in the Women's Royal Rumble, when you bring back a Tori Wilson or a Mickie James or a Victoria, the people they put them with and had them match up against, was really impressive to me, especially there's a few eye-locking moments. But like you said, when Damian Priest eliminated Kane, my first initial thought was, okay, that's the way you kick off a debut for a guy who we all are pretty assuming now is going to be on the main roster. Same thing with Rhea Ripley when she got to lock eyes with a few of these taller girls, and of course the reuniting with Charlotte Flair. So all of that, was must see for me. Well done, Royal Rumble. I watched about 2 or 3 Royal Rumbles this past month to build my anticipation for this one, and it blew me out of the water. For having no crowd, they put an A+ effort forward on this night.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the most controversial take of the whole show was Edge's win, because here we are talking about legends being utilized perfect, putting over the younger talent, and in the same breath, we have Edge win the men's Rumble, which I believe a lot of people are very happy with, but rightfully so. Some people are not so into. Man, he is, from a booking standpoint, it's a great story. Let's be honest with that. From a booking standpoint, to enter a number one, to go through the classic tropes of somebody, they're trying to make you forget that somebody was still in the match, being Randy Orton, who was never even, who wasn't in the Rumble at all, to try and give you that false finish, to Edge overcoming it. Booking wise, it works terrific. But on the flip side of that, we always claim that we want these older guys and the legends to put over the younger talent. Edge is now the only Hall of Famer, like WWE Hall of Famer, to win a Rumble. So are we hypocrites here? Or is this story surpassing his status as a legend and we should just be enjoying the story of Edge trying to go out on his own terms?
Kyle, you're a Patriots fan, right?
Yeah.
Are you pissed off and sick of seeing Tom Brady go out there and try to win a Super Bowl?
Hell no. Hell no.
That's my point. If you can't have this both ways. If this is about entertainment and about putting forth the best product on television, and don't forget, guys, everybody complains WWE doesn't build superstars. The only way to build a superstar is put them in a ring with someone that can get them over. And Roman Reigns is at the top of the food chain in the entire WWE. He needs somebody to work up to, and there's nobody on the roster that he can do that with. No offense to anybody that's on the roster, but there are no other major superstars. What's he going to do? Go in the ring with Charlotte Flair? I mean, there's only so much they can do with Roman Reigns, and so putting him against somebody like an Edge, we don't know if Edge picks him yet, but going in the ring with somebody like an Edge or a John Cena or a returning Rock, and we're assuming 2 years in Hollywood, that's the way to get these guys over. And so putting Edge in this situation, and don't forget, guys, the Peacock deals are about to go through. They need a face on this WrestleMania card that older fans or people that don't know much about wrestling, but they know, hey, that's Edge. They can maybe have a pullback into making this a bigger deal this year, especially with only 30% capacity in that stadium. Mm-hmm. So we've got to put our best card together to really make this a must-watch event. And having somebody like Edge win the Rumble, and like you said, the story they told. It was a match. It was Edge and Orton's third match inside the Royal Rumble, which was hilarious to me that they were able to pull that off. It was a match within a match. They were basically having a singles match inside the Royal Rumble, which was really, really cool. And I think it was a beautiful story, well told. I get it. I mean, Mustafa Ali tweeted and said, "I'd like to welcome all the senior citizens back, for taking our spots for the road to WrestleMania." I get it, but at the same time, it is what it is.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with it. I don't think Edge is burying the young talent. I think a lot of the issue comes from the older guys too, by the way, is the fact that they're not around. Goldberg is 2 matches a year, right. Even so if you put a belt on him, he's not going to show up to Raw every week, and I don't know how frequently Edge is going to be on television, but I'm pretty sure he'll feature pretty prominently, given that he missed pretty much all of 2020 last year, because he came back in the Rumble, had one appearance on Raw where he was taken out by Randy Orton, appeared at WrestleMania,
they just cut promos from home,
and then appeared at Backlash and was out. So he was on TV, on weekly television, in a live capacity once, last year, and then everything else was pre-taped or pay-per-view. So I'm pretty sure Edge is going to try and make up for that, be on television a little bit more, represent more, especially considering he's the winner of the Royal Rumble. You don't have someone win the Rumble and go sit at home until Mania comes around. At least I wouldn't think so. Right. RN saying his deal was like 4 matches. Yeah, matches, but I'm sure appearances is going to be different though. Really quick, I got to silence my phone. In my group chat, the haters are out tonight between RN and Jay Thunder. Apparently, these guys just don't like Edge. You heard it from us, folks. Jay Thunder and RN do not like Edge. Let me silence
I just want the best story. I want the
Yeah.
story that's gonna take me and my heart investment into this. And we all knew that Edge had, and again, I think a lot of it was if Edge hadn't had the tricep injury, we wouldn't be talking about this right now. The fact they got robbed from him early on
Yeah.
a freaking retake of an RKO after a match should have been over,
Retake.
you know, then this was such a needed thing to redeem this for him. And we all probably can assume that I can probably assume that once this run is over, unless he really wants to do the Goldberg treatment and come back once or twice a year and help get a younger guy over, this is probably the last real run he's going to have. So why not let him have the biggest moment he possibly can have before he finally says I'm done?
Yeah,
So,
I think
and go out on his terms, go out on his terms.
I think you do like kind of after this title run, you kind of do what Rey Mysterio is doing, and he's trying to build other guys around. He's just a legend to be on TV and stuff. Edge will have his fairy tale, like whatever you want to call it, moment where he goes out on his terms, tries to regain the belt that he never lost. I say you put the belt on him and then take it off shortly afterwards, just so he can say he lost the title. And then from there, man, just do your farewell tour. Reunite with Christian or form a tag team with a younger guy, help be a mentor,
Sure.
spend a couple years with the younger guys and building people up and then doing nostalgia stuff and just enjoy the fruits of your labor at that point, So I've got no problem with this.
Yeah.
I say go ahead, put the belt on him, have him beat Drew. Have him beat Drew McIntyre. Keep him away from Roman. Have him beat Drew. Give him that belt back. He can lose to Drew because you have that moment of, oh, Edge got the victory, storybook ending, and then you have the realization, no, Drew truly is the present. He beats Edge. Edge is content, and then, have him do some fun stuff, man. Edge is awesome doing some fun stuff.
I'd go the other way. I'd go Roman.
Really? Beat Roman? I don't know.
No, not
man.
beat him. Not beat him. Not beat him.
Just not beat him. Just face Roman and lose.
Yes.
Okay.
Cement Roman as the biggest heel in professional wrestling across all boards. If Roman does what I think he's going to do and targets Edge as the old timer that shouldn't be here anymore and is trying to take my glory and is trying to take my place at the table and beats him down on a somewhat monthly basis, and then at WrestleMania we want Edge so bad to win this thing, and Roman puts him down again and continues to hold that title when, of all people, Edge had the shot to take him down and Edge couldn't do it,
Yeah.
then that's massive nuclear heat on Roman. And like I said, very few guys can do that for Roman, and Edge can do that for him. Plus, it's spear versus spear. And the other thing is Drew's doing such a good job as the WWE champion, as a baby face. If you put Edge in the ring with Drew, Drew's going to start turning heel, and I don't want that for Drew.
I got you. Yeah, that makes sense.
But your perspective's good too. Again, they can tell the story, and with Edge in there, it's going to be a good story. Edge can do whatever with Drew he wants to do. So I would prefer Roman, but I see your point with Drew.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Trying to think. I saw something where it was have Edge overcome. I can't remember if they said Drew or Roman, but get that really feel good moment of him winning, and then Miz cash in and just steal all the heat in the world. And I thought that was so ridiculous.
Well, let me ask you this question. I've heard people say somehow, some way, get the title on Randy off of Drew, and then Edge versus Randy at WrestleMania. But do you think last night what they did with the Rumble, all through it, and then the ending of the Rumble, you think Edge and Randy are finally done?
Yes. Yeah.
I think so too.
It felt like a proper blow off between the two. It didn't, because they did the dramatic stuff in the beginning. And we said this last year. They kicked it off with a last man standing match,
Right.
And then you have the greatest match of all time. However, they went over it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, where do you go from there? How are you going to keep building it up? You're going to go through the 3 stages of hell. You're going to do a Hell in a Cell. Like, no, it's just
No.
Yeah, let it have a casual blow off. Randy Orton's got some really cool stuff going on with the Fiend right now. I'm more intrigued in that.
Exactly.
So, Yeah, that's what
What'd
I
you
would
think-
be like.
What'd you think of the women's Royal Rumble?
The women's Royal Rumble, fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff. I'm really happy to see the new faces start to emerge from this women's division, where it looks like last night felt like the first time that we might be moving on from the four horsewomen and start to usher in the new age of these women wrestlers. So I'm all for it, man. Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair. By the way, on the predictions pool, which I'll be revealing the winners for tomorrow on the Raw recap.
Screwed up so bad on that.
I put all my chips on Bianca Belair, and I'm so happy because not only did I have her winning the Rumble, I had her as the Iron Woman. Obviously, if I have her winning, I have her in the top 4. And then I also had her for the most eliminations. I haven't gone back to see who scored the most eliminations yet.
Rhea Ripley.
It was Ripley? Okay.
Ripley had the most. I think she had 7.
Okay. Yeah, so I felt good about that, man. I was like, they're gonna use the Royal Rumble to make out of anybody. I was like, Bianca Belair. They'd be dumb not to, and they did, man. I was so happy for it.
Yeah, the final 2 were the right 2. I agree completely. Yeah.
Oh man. Let me see. Well, really quick. I guess we'll kick off the show now in the normal fashion where we kind of run everything down. We don't have to go move for move in all these matches, but we'll go ahead and give every match their due. But before we do that, man, make sure you head on over to WrestlingNewsWorld.com. A lot of talented writers over there. Also, they do articles, thought pieces, retro reviews, a lot of fun. They're gracious enough to let us be the official recap show of the website, so we're very grateful to have them. And then lastly, if you guys make sure that you go over to patreon.com/SmackDrop and, hook us up. Help support our show. And we'll go ahead and hook you up with some cool stuff. Sticker packs. We got t-shirts. We even have the ability now to go ahead and feature you on unpopular wrestling opinions. I'm actually going to be reaching out to a couple people to show how that would look on the actual broadcast. I think I'm going to start breaking out the video on popular opinions on the very next episode, which I'm trying to put together a special all putting you over cast, including you, Bama, on the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. So yeah, make sure, man, help support the show. Definitely, don't be trolls like Jay Thunder and Mr. RN, and then of course Vince Delgado. Don't be trolls like them. Show love to your fellow wrestling creators, just like we show love to you guys week in and week out. But
Absolutely.
With that being said, let's go ahead and kick off this show. We first had the surprising. When's the last time we had a title change hands that wasn't the 24/7 title on the kickoff show?
Maybe the United States Championship about a year ago. Maybe
The U.S. title changed hands on a kickoff show last year.
I want to say yes. I want to say was it like a Shinsuke or not Shinsuke? That would have been Intercontinental Championship. Oh gosh. I'm trying to remember, but I want to say the U.S. or the IC title changed in the pre-show within last year. But
okay,
I could be
either
wrong
my
on that.
point, you rarely
But
ever see it.
But it's almost impossible. Yeah.
And we did last night. Asuka and Charlotte took on the team of Jackson and Baszler. We had some interference from Lacey Evans hitting Charlotte with some what looked to be like brass knuckles, which were handed off by Ric Flair, by the way.
The loaded women's right.
Yeah. We now have new tag team champions in Jax and Baszler, which I think is fantastic. I think it was a huge mistake to just put the belts on Charlotte and Asuka just because
I
Charlotte
said the same
was
thing.
back.
Why'd you take them off to begin with? Yeah. Why'd you take them off to begin with? Exactly.
Yeah. It was Charlotte was back. You had to make her feel like a big deal. There's some people that it feels like WWE is scared to have presented without a title. It's like they always have to be associated as a physical champion. And I feel like Charlotte Flair is just one of those people where they're just scared that like people are going to forget that she's one of the best wrestlers, men or women, on the planet if she doesn't have gold around her waist at all times. And yeah, it was ill advised. It really ruined.
In fairness, she's a Flair, and her father was that way too. He was always in the title picture.
Yeah.
If he wasn't in a true entrenched blood feud like with Dusty Rhodes, he was always in a title picture.
Yeah,
so.
Man. I want to say like it really ruined this. I think who hurt the most from it, besides it jamming up the women's division as far as singles competitors go, going after Asuka and her belt, Lana. Mm-hmm. They spent 2-3 months building up Lana to have this moment where she finally ones up Jackson Baszler. And
which she did in the Rumble, which was great.
Yeah, and I mean she did it prior to it too, because remember the whole reason Charlotte was in that match is she beat Nia Jax in that fluke victory, and then was hospitalized, and Charlotte came in. You know, had Charlotte not come in, I'm not saying we guaranteed Lana was going to have gold around her waist, but damn it, man, there was a chance there, just for sure to see that, and I think that would have been the ultimate comeuppance, because now. They were so fluke. They didn't feel like a climactic win. Granted, I'm not taking away. I popped huge when Lana both pinned Jax and then also eliminated her from the Rumble last night. Yes. But there could have been more of a climax. There could have been more of a climax.
I agree.
Yeah, and I feel like Charlotte coming back is the reason why we didn't get that. That's just my opinion. Mm-hmm. Then we kicked off the night. Drew McIntyre and Goldberg. Boy. Dude, I had a heart attack watching this match. This was not good on my nerves. I'm telling you. Oh, my God. So, before the match, these guys brawl. Goldberg says something to Drew. They start fighting. Drew doesn't like it. He hits him with a spear. They brawl outside. And essentially, they're lining up the story that Drew is now going to start this match injured, which would give Goldberg a more believable victory. The guys start spamming their finishers. Goldberg hits 2 spears. Drew kicks out. Drew hits a Claymore. Goldberg kicks out. Goldberg ducks a second Claymore and hits the jackhammer. At this point, I'm like, man, F the WWE. I'm so sick of this.
Yep.
And to my surprise, man,
Drew kicks out.
Yes, sir. Kicks out. Little back and forth. Goldberg misses a spear. Drew hits the second Claymore.
1, 2, 3.
Yes, sir. And then in my favorite part, say what you want about Goldberg. I trashed this man. He took that he took that loss, and then he also was gracious enough to show respect to Drew in the middle of the ring, a passing of the torch moment, maybe the final time we see Goldberg in a title picture. I thought they did it perfect. I thought they booked it perfect.
Yeah. The way he said, "You passed the test, man. You got it." That right there. Drew is now the top of the food chain on Raw, the way Roman is on SmackDown. Yeah. So it's finally set. And I agree with you. There were so many people were like, "Well, it's a for sure done deal that Goldberg's going to win this." And even on Championship the other night, I was the only person out of 5 that said Drew's going to win this match.
Really?
Because I had that inner feeling that if Drew McIntyre comes out there and says, "Everybody out there watching, we're going to beat this COVID situation the same way I'm going to beat Goldberg on Sunday," it's done. Drew can't lose.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think of that. Oh, man, how disheartening that would have been.
Oh, screw it. We all still have COVID.
Yeah.
Goldberg wins.
Drew lost to COVID. Oh, God, that's so bad.
It had to happen, man. But like you said, it ended perfectly. Passing of the torch. And this is what I'm saying. If Goldberg wants to come back and spear Dolph Ziggler, or wants to come back and tell Ali, "Hey, you have a problem with senior citizens. Let's go next week." I'm fine with that. I just don't want him near a belt anymore. That's just me.
No, and I've said the same thing about other people too, like Brock Lesnar. You know, it's dude, you guys, there's an attraction to be had here that doesn't require a title. You know, and Goldberg, I firmly believe, is that too. Right. I'd love for him to have a trilogy with Riddle. You know, whether Riddle comes out on top or not, who knows? But yeah, also on a side note, WWE showed also last night in that match, they still know how to book one hell of a false finish. Because there wasn't a person alive that saw that jackhammer and thought that Drew would kick out from it. Yeah, that's definitely the biggest false finish I've seen this year.
Beautiful.
RN says never going to happen with Riddle and Goldberg. Yeah, I know. I'm just saying I wouldn't mind seeing it. Okay.
Would Brock work with Riddle?
I think Brock would. Brock's always said, "Hey, if the money's right, I'll do it." You know, if WWE can book, which all it would take is a couple good video packages. There's all the footage in the world of Riddle calling out Brock Lesnar. You tell me WWE can't put together a dramatic video package to get you to want to see that match? Yeah.
Yes. And I want it in the fight pit.
Yeah. I'm saying,
I want it in the fight pit.
Yeah. No, Brock would definitely. Brock is a businessman. If the money's right, he'll do it. Absolutely. Women's SmackDown match: Sasha Banks, Carmella. Look here. If there's any criticism, instead of us, I mean, the match itself was fine.
It was fine.
Yeah, it was fine. It's how you book a lesser powerful heel with their manager or sommelier getting involved in stuff, but still losing. If there is one thing to criticize about this, is Carmella has no place to go but down now. She unfortunately is going to go down the card after this one.
I want her in a blood feud.
Yeah,
I want her getting under the skin of someone that is trying to do things the right way. I want her to get under or bully somebody. Go for like the Riot Squad. Have them go, what's this punk crap? You guys actually think this looks good? You guys actually think this means something? You guys think y'all would ever be a champion, ever hold a piece of gold like I have? I want her to be an actual heel Sasha Banks. I want her to actually, mess with people and really put people down and help, establish a little bit of that. She doesn't need to be in the title picture right now. She can pull off that attitude and pull off that better than you feeling and do that.
What
and of
sympathetic baby face is there on SmackDown? You need someone who's sympathetic.
You need somebody. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, the Riot Squad right now, they're not really sympathetic characters. They're just, they're doing their own thing. They just don't really come up with the most wins. Honestly, I think the most sympathetic babyface right now is Billie Kay. And with her getting turned down.
That would be good. I thought about her.
Yeah, I think Billie Kay right now has the affection of everybody, and all it would take is like one segment of all of these comedy skits of her giving out her resume and finally all the rejection finally adding up. Yeah, I could see that. I say Carmella and Billie Kay. That'd be a good one.
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really all there is to it. Sasha Banks wins though in a good match. Oh, by the way, I hope Carmella is okay. Had a very scary spot where she overshot a dive and face planted tough.
Yes.
You knew it was real because they even caught Sasha Banks like patting Carmella's back. Like, you okay?
Yes.
And then she was like, yeah. And she kind of gives her this little tap. Like, all right, get up.
Yep.
Oh, man. All right. And then we are on to... Did I miss the... Oh, okay. No. Yeah, Roman and them fell after the Women's Rumble. Okay.
Yeah, it was in between the Rumbles.
Yeah, it was in between the Rumbles. All right, cool. I'm done with CBS Sports. Let me pull up my actual notes now. I just needed them for the first couple matches.
Have your feelings changed on Sasha at all after that match?
No.
Me neither.
No, Sasha's a heel.
Yes,
Sasha's not a face.
Which she needs to be for the EST.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And it won't be that hard of a transition.
Mm-mm.
So, yeah, Bianca and Sasha, because you're gonna have Alexa Bliss mix it up with
Rhea. Rhea eliminated Alexa, so the story's built in.
You don't think she'll go after Asuka?
I think she'll go with Alexa first until maybe Elimination Chamber, and then she'll win the chamber, and then she'll declare for the champion, whoever that may be.
I got you. Okay. So really quick, I'll try to run through the more notable spots. I have them as like cliff notes. I'm not gonna go like move for move. Naomi and Bayley kicked off the Rumble. Billie Kay, throughout the very beginning, was trying to hand out her resume. She hopped on commentary at first. She approached Shotzi Blackheart, who came in, tried to give her resume. Shotzi shot her with a tank, by the way, which was pretty good. Shotzi ended up being the first one eliminated from the match. I had to put in here, who's Jillian Hall?
Wow.
I wasn't watching during that period. There was several years I gapped out. So I was told that Jillian Hall, most notable thing was she was the person the boogeyman ate like the growth off of her face or something.
That happened. She worked with JBL as a assistant when he was in the title picture on SmackDown. In the cabinet.
Okay.
And then she had the growth thing with the boogeyman, and then after that, she sang her own entrance song as she walked down to the ring, and she sang it terribly off key, which made her.
Yeah, I caught that part. I was like, oh, she's a singing gimmick. It was like, Aiden English lady, but
no.
She had a good comedy spot with Billie Kay. She was the one to ultimately accept the resume. We got the team of Jilly and Billy.
Team Jilly.
Yeah. Victoria was a surprise. Victoria looked really good. Like, I'm not going to lie.
Mm-hmm.
She looked really good. At one point, who was it that did the Widow's Peak and then Victoria had to show her how it was done? I think it was Peyton Royce.
It was Peyton Royce, yes.
Peyton Royce did the Widow's Peak, and Victoria ended up doing it to her, showing her how it was really done. And Peyton sold it so good to make Victoria's look way better than hers did. That was the good one. They ruined the Iconics reunion. Yes, I loved it. So that was my next thing, was the Iconics got back together. Briefly, they go to do their pose, but as Billy turns to the side to do her pose, there's the Riot Squad, and Billy felt like she was in an awkward spot. Oh, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Tori Wilson returned for a bit. She was a lot of fun in there. Tori Wilson proves, like Keanu Reeves, she doesn't age. A nasty spot by Rhea Ripley powerbombing Dana Brooke on the ring apron. That stuck out to me. That was pretty gnarly.
Whew.
Yep. And then one of the nicer things, the Rumbles aren't just for big returns and spots. They can further ongoing stories, as we saw with Ric Flair introducing Lacey in Flair's robe, who Charlotte's already in the match, and they didn't end up costing Charlotte the match, but it still furthered the story role. So we know coming out of this Rumble.
Correct. And then
go ahead.
Yeah, and Charlotte eliminates Lacey to get a little bit of comeuppance for the match earlier in the night. And but yeah, I think Elimination Chamber, we're going to get a stipulation match between Charlotte and Lacey. Don't know what it is, but
Ric Flair in a shark cage. Telling you. Or you can go WCW and do like the whole Viagra on a pole match again. I don't know. Something like that. No, that's too much.
Ooh.
That's too much. That's too much. My bad. I'm not proud of that one. Okay. Back to it. Reggie saves Carmella. We kind of saw that coming. Reggie was out there, helped her. R-Truth showed up in the wrong Rumble, proving once again how oblivious he is to the world around him. I do like that he used Alicia Fox as a weapon, Irish whipping her into the 24/7 division before she ultimately rolls him up and pins him for Alicia Fox to become the 24/7 champion. Didn't last long. R-Truth got her back later in the night. One of the more controversial spots, Alexa Bliss comes out in the Funhouse persona, starts to go through the transformation, and everybody, or was it just Rhea Ripley, or everybody unifiedly threw her out together?
Yeah. Yeah, that was weird for me. I wanted Bianca to eliminate Charlotte by herself.
What?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah, I think you missed me. I said no, Alexa Bliss's spot in the Rumble.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that. Hold on one second. I can't get the screen back up.
You're fine.
Can you still see me?
Yeah, I see you.
Okay.
We're
Then
fine.
I'll just talk. I can't see you. I can't see you, but I'll still talk. Yeah. No, I thought it was interesting that that moment happened. Everybody beats her down, and then she, because of the punishment, when she takes enough punishment, she metamorphosizes into her dark character, and so she had taken enough, so she was about to do it, and Rhea stopped her from doing it, which is why I think that that's going to be an easy play in that. I had a chance to get my favorite toy back, and you cost me that chance to get my toy back. So, that's
Yeah, that is really
so
good.
I think so. I think it's easy and simple. Plus, I mean, I don't know how much more we can do with Randy and Bliss when it's the Fiend, but I,
I
and that's the
mean,
other thing.
who's to say these stories can't interweave? You know?
And they can. And they can.
One thing that we praise AEW for is their ability to interweave stories with each other.
Yep.
That every story role isn't just two people like in a bubble and everything else happening to them doesn't exist. Having people bump into each other and these stories kind of interweave with each other, I think would be a nice touch.
For sure.
We'll see. We'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, Bliss is eliminated right as she was about to transform, and I'm pretty sure that kind of got everybody a little deflated. But we had another feel-good moment, and Lana eliminated Nia Jax, and then it came down eventually to the final four. Natalya, Charlotte, Bianca, and Ripley in the final four. The only thing that stunk here for me, and it's it's like beating a dead horse with a stick now. Why the hell do we have Natalya in the final four? It served nothing. I get
only because she came in at 30, so she should be. That's all I'm thinking.
Yeah, like I felt like they did it just to bring eyes to backstage. They just announced, hey, there would be a match, but it's like, you don't give away the 30 spot.
Yeah,
they
true.
could have done it in a manner where you, although I know we said we started off with two people that were great, Bailey and Naomi, but it could have been loser is number one. Instead of winner being 30, because the 30 is such a surprise spot for most time. But I mean, I'm picking at straws here. The Women's Rumble was fantastically booked. Natalya's the first one out. Charlotte's then taken out by both Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair. Belair.
That's what I would have changed.
Yeah,
I would have had Bianca eliminate Charlotte by herself and then eliminate Rhea by herself.
But then the story would be Bianca taking out Charlotte instead of being the new blood taking out the old blood. Because that's how I felt about it. It was either Team NXT or the future of the women's division eliminating the old guard. Instead of it took two of them.
I see that, but again, to me, it just continues to reinforce all the negative haters on Twitter that they're protecting Charlotte. They couldn't do it one-on-one with like they did with Becky. They needed two of them to do it.
That's the thing about perception, baby.
Yeah.
We all can perceive it in many ways.
Exactly.
Yeah. Then it came down to an awesome final series between Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair.
Which to me, dude, the moment of the Women's Rumble. Sorry to interrupt you. The moment of the Women's Rumble is when they're both almost eliminated, and they slowly go, "Okay, back in, careful. Let's
Yes.
do this the right way. Let's do this the right way." Which to me spoke so this kind of technicality, the way other Women's Rumbles have ended. You and me are going to go, and the better woman's going to win this match, and Bianca was the better woman.
Instead of like who lands first on the apron.
Exactly.
Which that was the story of Charlotte and Asuka, right? Fighting on the ring apron. Yeah.
Yes.
No, fantastic stuff. And then once again, Bianca Belair came out with the victory, cut a very impassioned, tearful promo. Got me was when she spoke to her parents. Not often do you hear these young people call out to their mom and dad, and yeah, it was just, how could you not fall in love with Bianca Belair, whether you were already a fan or you were coming into this with new eyes? I think Bianca Belair made a ton of new fans last night, man. I couldn't be happier for her.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. As a grown man, RN said she made him cry. Wow, RN has a heart, dude. Would not imagine.
It's huge. It's huge.
was.
It's a beautiful story. It's going to be great. And like I said, please WWE get this right. The EST versus the Boss at WrestleMania. It is perfect. It will be a banger of a match. Everybody's going to want to see it. And no better person to put Bianca on the next level than Sasha Banks. Do
Yeah.
it and do it right. Yeah.
When I see Bianca and Sasha, though, the only thing about it, now granted, wrestling, people know how to make things more believable, but Bianca strikes me as a Brock Lesnar compared to Sasha Banks, excuse me. Like,
No, I get that.
yeah, it feels like, to me, Bianca feels like she could ragdoll Sasha, but I know that, this is pro wrestling. You kind of, can adjust reality here and stuff. But
But even you've said, Kyle, that Sasha's like a freaking spider monkey. She could just get out of anything, and
yeah, that is
and
true.
use her-
That is true.
And she
has a million arm drags.
and she throws reckless abandon. She
Yeah.
will do whatever it takes to win. And Bianca's gonna have to bring her A game to beat her. So
I'm a fan of the good old squash match. I really am. Like, my favorite squash match is, even though it's hard to, is the Brock Lesnar John Cena one. Although the dynamic's different there. You have a heel and a face. But I'm not saying that's what should happen. I'm just, in my mind, I think that could draw a huge impact too, is if just Bianca shows up and looks even that much more powerful. But it's kind of silly booking. I get it. Something else that was silly. GI Bro showing up for the Bad Bunny performance. Oh, it's Booker T. But
it's 5 minutes of my life I'll never get back.
apparently he didn't feel comfortable dancing live. Apparently he didn't feel comfortable dancing. Did you ever see the music video?
No, I
No,
didn't see it.
it's okay. It's okay as a music video.
Yeah.
You have to be. I think you have to be into Latin music to appreciate it, because I don't speak any Spanish.
Yeah, probably.
But it's okay. Anyways, Peter Rosenberg pins R-Truth for the third 24/7 championship. Peter Rosenberg is your 24/7 champion currently. He's probably going to get pinned on some commentating show or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Or we'll have to wait till another kickoff show to see that get
Yeah.
back. And then we get to the last man standing match. Whoo boy, was this a spot fest in a car crash, of a match.
And yet a beautiful story.
It was good. For
Great
a
story.
match that felt like the conclusion was predetermined. Duh, it's pro wrestling. But a foregone conclusion. I don't know many people that went into this thinking Kevin Owens was going to win. They maybe gave a sense of like, hey, this guy might pull it off.
Right.
Here's my issue with it though. So we get a couple cool spots. We get the fight. We get them fighting back over in the Thunderdome. We've seen that before.
Yep.
Kevin Owens does a pop-up powerbomb onto. They actually spilled their way outside the Thunderdome into the baseball field, which opens up and was beautiful visually. By the way, like such
It
a
really
nice
was.
change of scenery. Kevin Owens pop-up powerbombs Roman Reigns onto a table. It doesn't break. He does a huge splash onto the table. It finally goes. Then it spills over to another table where Kevin Owens has a forklift. Now, let me ask you, Bama, did this match happen to remind you of a certain empty arena match that took place on a Super Bowl Sunday way back when?
A little bit, yeah. And also, I was thinking, do you remember the last man standing match? I'm trying to remember who won it, but they used a forklift to pin the guy, and he couldn't get up.
No, that's the match I'm talking about.
That's the one. Okay.
Yeah, the empty arena match between Mick Foley and The Rock. Mick Foley pinned him with a forklift. It was all cinematic. He crushed him with a forklift. Kevin Owens apparently hasn't watched wrestling because he had that perfect opportunity, man. Instead, he went the Jeff Hardy route. He raised the forklift up, hit a swanton. He also, before
Which
any of
scared
this,
me to death.
before any of this, he ate shit, got ran over by a golf cart like straight out of the scene of Final Destination, that movie, if you've seen it, where the chick walks into the street and is obliterated by a bus out of nowhere. We got that with Roman running over Kevin Owens.
And I knew the moment it happened, Twitter was going to be flooded with people going, "Oh, they just ripped off AEW." No, they did not. No, they did not. AEW was designed to be funny and run down Sammy and watch Sammy throw himself on a golf cart. This came out of nowhere. This was scary. I thought Kevin Owens could have broken a rib from that. That
not to mention the plexiglass being flying into Roman's face too. Couldn't have felt good. The spot was brutal, man. It was a very brutal spot.
It was brutal.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of people trying to correct. Like, I didn't personally see it, but I wasn't tweeting too much last night. But yeah, they tweeted out that hardcore match at WrestleMania, which saw.
Hey, dude, they got color. They got color.
Yeah, did they bleed? Yeah, they did bleed because there was the line.
Yeah,
there was
he rubbed his face. And said, yes, he said, "Look, this is tribal blood, man." Oh my gosh, I loved it.
Yeah, it was good. It was very good. The match culminated with Roman spearing Kevin Owens through the LED board and attempting to handcuff him to part of the stage. Kevin Owens turns the tables, handcuffs Roman, and then all the air came out of this match. We got probably, arguably, the best false finish of the night. It's up between the jackhammer of Drew McIntyre or this, where Roman's handcuffed to the bottom of the stage. He can't stand up. And then when the ref reaches 9, Roman pulls him and throws him headfirst into some staging, which was fine. Roman calls over Paul Heyman. They can't get the handcuffs off. And this is where they botched it big time. So much for refs being instructed to call matches as a shoot, by the way.
Right.
Because a new ref comes out. He gets to like 5 or 6 and then just stops counting.
He stops counting.
Yeah.
Which could have been easily avoided. They could have either had a fail safe there where they had some bolt cutters inside the truss, God forbid if the cuffs don't break, or Paul could stand up, grab the ref, and slam him into the truss and say,
exactly that. No one, they didn't have this was obviously an overlooked spot, but in my opinion, overall didn't ruin anything for the night. It's not like people tuned in for the last man standing match. You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah. So it didn't ruin it for nobody.
It didn't bother me at all. It just made my anticipation dip a little bit, but it didn't bother me.
And you can clean it up on SmackDown.
Yeah.
The ref was paid off by Roman. The ref was intimidated, whatever it might be. The referee just will have to get suspended for like a week or two. You can clean it up, is what I'm saying. It shouldn't be too hard. And then finally after this, we do get the men's Rumble. Edge entering as number 1. Orton as number 2. They don't even go into the ring. They just brawl everywhere. Ultimately, Edge taking a chair to Orton's knee, which takes him out of the majority of the match. And then we spend probably the first third of the Rumble with heels coming in and teaming up on Edge, with baby faces coming in one by two. I think the first baby face in the match was Jeff Hardy, and he was in there for all of like a hiccup before he was eliminated. Right. But this Rumble, one of the minor stories of this Rumble was reunited tag teams. We got Big E and Xavier Woods in there. You had Edge and Christian, which was just such a feel-good moment. The Bar
that may have been the moment of the night.
Yeah,
that may
Edge
have
and
been
Christian.
the moment of the night.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
Because everybody thought it in 2020. Everybody thought, "Where's Christian? Why can't Christian help out?" You know what I mean? But yeah, so you had once again you had Big E and Xavier, Edge and Christian. You had the Bar, Team Hell No. All these former tag teams got moments together, which was a really nice one.
I agree.
What else did we have debut in there? I mean, there was so much stuff. Carlito came back, jacked, looks yoked, man. That he's coming back. He's gonna be in the WWE. It's gonna be a huge miss if this was. I heard he's booked for tonight, but this is
apparently he's also interviewing for a spot on the production team.
Really?
So
wow.
So he might produce from within the ring. You know, do kind of like have a match every now and then go back and work.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean he looked freaking huge, man. Like the man looked thick. What else?
I gotta eat more apples.
We mentioned it earlier. Damian Priest eliminating Kane. That was really nice.
Great moment.
Dominic
Would you put
eliminating
Priest on Raw or SmackDown?
Huh?
Would you put Priest
SmackDown.
on Raw or SmackDown?
SmackDown. Yeah.
Yeah.
Raw is stacked right now, man. It's not saying SmackDown ain't, but he just strikes me as a SmackDown
I agree.
guy.
I agree.
Dominic eliminated Corbin.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. It was nice. Big E and Bobby Lashley. I don't know how you make this match happen. Make it happen. Oh my God, dude. The intensity that was brought out of Big E by Bobby Lashley was something to behold.
Loved it.
RN and I have commented on how great Big E and Apollo Crews looked, like intensity wise. This was that cranked up to 100, man. Bobby Lashley and Big E. I don't know how you make this feud happen, but it needs to happen after the Rumble. We're not going to get Lashley and Lesnar. It's not going to happen. This is the next best thing.
I think usually at WrestleMania there's one match that's Raw versus SmackDown. This needs to be the one. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Spuddy says, I think my favorite part of Kai Tai is the more and more. He says, I look like Gene Snitsky more and more every time he sees me. It's a fucking...
It's not his fault.
It's not my fault. Shit. Hurricane Helms comes in. He recreates the spot where he attempts the double choke slam of Triple H and Stone Cold, except this time he tries to do it with Big E and Bobby Lashley. Hurricane Helms is listed as like one of the worst participants in any Royal Rumble. The man's been in like 6 or 7 now, has 0 eliminations, and I think his longest time in a match is like for like only 2 or 3 minutes. Like the man comes in and jobs in the Rumble more than almost anybody else.
Yep.
Oh man. Really it was the top heavy of the match, man, with Christian in there. Eventually it comes down to we getting Rollins back, and then it really coming down to also, by the way, before we get to the Final Four, Daniel Bryan and Matt Riddle had a fantastic little mini match in the ring too, by the way. But Edge and Christian having to team up against Braun and Seth Rollins, and then Seth being taken out by Braun Strowman, and it looking like these two guys having to take on a monster was just a wonderful visual.
Yes.
Yeah. And then it comes down to it, man. In the process of Edge trying to take out Strowman, Christian comes in to help. Seth Rollins comes in, takes out both Christian and Braun at the same time. Edge is able to eliminate Seth Rollins for the false finish.
Yes.
Randy Orton comes in, hits that RKO, and without missing a beat, goes to throw Edge out, which is usually a lock, and Edge reverses it the last second to win the Rumble.
Yes.
In a fantastic
beautiful moment.
Fantastic moment, man. Loved it, man. Loved it.
The only moment I was missing is, since Kofi could not be in this, why couldn't John Morrison give us a moment? That's the only thing I missed.
Now, my group chat said that was the lucky spot, and I'm assuming they meant like a Kofi spot, but I must have missed it. You had stuff like AJ Styles landing on Omos, but that's not really a Kofi spot. That spot's done by a lot of people who are paired up with someone.
Funny enough, dude, Naomi didn't give us one either. I don't think. Maybe without the live crowd, they didn't want to do it.
They did. Well, no. They did with Naomi, where she grabbed onto Bianca Belair's hair. There was an awkward spot where she was almost eliminated, and she pulled herself up via Bianca Belair's hair, and then they kind of used each other's momentum to get back in the ring. I think that was the spot. I think that that was one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good show, man.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, we really, we covered it in the beginning. We kind of recapped the show in the beginning and then ran it down in the end, which is kind of awkward.
No, it was great.
So what's next? Let's talk about this. The two winners, Bianca, we said calls out Sasha, we say, and then we said you want Edge to call out Roman.
I want Roman personally.
Yeah, I still want him to call out
But-
Drew.
But if he goes after Drew, Daniel Bryan wins the chamber. Daniel Bryan goes for Roman, which is great.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true too.
That would work too.
Yeah. Then if we agree with this, if he doesn't go after Drew, who is Drew going to pair up with for the Mania, you think?
Who would win the chamber on Raw? That would be good. Oh, you're gonna hate this, Sheamus.
I wouldn't hate it. I think their
Well,
chemistry.
you want them to be you want them to be buddies.
I mean, I do, but with recapping Raw every week, I've been saying that Sheamus has been putting on like 4-star matches every single
Yes.
week that he's in the ring. Like his matches have
Yes.
become must see, and then Drew can put on a good match with anybody. I think from just a wrestling match standpoint, it'd be awesome. And then not to
I
mention
agree.
an easy damn story to tell. You could have them start out like, Sheamus starts out as, it's a friendship coming for the belt, but then as they get closer to Mania, Sheamus's obsession with the belt turns him heel, or something like
agree.
that. Yeah.
I agree.
But all right, yeah, that's it, man. Everybody, thank you for joining us. Let us know what you thought of the show in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe. I think I got a button for that. Yeah, I do, right there. Yeah, hit that like, subscribe, notification bell. Subscribe and follow the Twitch channel so you never miss a live stream. Bama, thank you again for joining. You bail me out so frequently now. Keep your
When in
Thursday.
doubt, roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Keep your Thursday free. I'm gonna want you back for NXT if you can. But
Okay, we'll see if my wife can handle it.
yeah. But we'll catch you guys on Tuesday morning for the Monday Night Raw recap. But like always, until next time, y'all have a good one.
Roll Tide.